We got our next guest ready to join us here. We're going to pivot, talk a little Cavs after a quick word from FanDuel. March Madness is here, guys. The Final Four is this weekend, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories. You can even bet on who's going to cut down the nets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in one of the hosts of The Big Number, a Yahoo Sports NBA insider. It is Tom Haberstroh. Tom, how you doing today?
What's going on, everybody?
Tom, how are you, man? We appreciate it. Are you like us? I mean, you're a big basketball guy, obviously. Me personally, basketball's not my biggest sport. These guys are more into basketball than I am. So right now, I'm like, I've had enough of the regular season. Mm-hmm. I don't care about these last 7 games for the Cavs. I'm locked in for the playoffs. I can't wait for the playoffs. I'm all in. But I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt. I just don't. I want these games to be over. Do you find that annoying as a diehard basketball guy, or do you understand?
I've been long proponent of trying to shorten the season from 82 games to 58. So Beautiful. The idea is you play every team twice, one at home, one at away. So you have 29 opponents. You basically shorten the season and you shorten the number of DNP rest games that you see a lot of these stars, including the Cavs, who are strategically resting their guys throughout the second half of the season. This is not what the NBA wants. They do not want teams to be resting their stars, big name players in these marquee matchups, but it's smart business when you talk about all of the legacies of these players, of Kenny Atkinson, of DeAndre Hunter, the newcomer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got Evan Mobley, who's trying to ascend into superstardom, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen. They're all chasing the same thing, is a championship, to prove that they are not just their regular season record, that they can perform in the postseason, and that means they got to be healthy. And so they are one of the healthiest teams this season, and they want to continue that. And unfortunately, I think the NBA is still far away from seriously considering lopping off significant chunks of the season, because I think that's what's better for the product. I think it's better for the national conversation, and I don't think we need back-to-backs anymore in the year 2025. Definitely. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers would also welcome that, considering how much they've strategically rested guys on those second night of back-to-backs.
Tom, has the Cavs answered the physicality question for you, or is that still something that you worry about in the postseason?
I think they've answered just about every question they've had from me. I mean, when you're outscoring opponents by 10 points per game this season, that is up there with the greatest teams of all time. Like, bar none. That's one of the top point differentials in the NBA, and you don't get there without being physical. And yes, in the postseason, it's going to get more physical, but they don't have free throw merchants, guys who are going to have to go into the paint to get their foul calls or be efficient. This offense is predicated on motion, on passing, and getting open shots. It's largely the same as the Boston Celtics last season, where they had 5 excellent three-point shooters around Jared Allen, 4 excellent three-point shooters around Jared Allen, and making sure that Evan Mobley can switch to the 5 like Kristaps Porzingis and play big. They've done that largely this season. And yes, you can look at that roster and say you don't have a bruiser, a bully on that roster, but I don't think people were saying the same thing about the Boston Celtics last year, and they won the NBA championship. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they're physical, but I wouldn't say that they're any more so than the Cleveland Cavaliers guys who really want to win this championship this year. They just got to prove it in the postseason.
Tom, let's assume that the Cavaliers make it to the NBA Finals. If they get there, this is for a hypothetical question, which could be it's a real question. I think they got a chance. Obviously, okay. I mean, they're a damn good basketball team. If they make it to the finals, would they be the favorite?
No, in my book, it's OKC. This team, I just talked about point differential. Their point differential, the margin by which they outscore the opponents every single night, is the largest point margin in NBA history.
Wow.
Okay? I'm going to repeat that.
That's
the
crazy.
Oklahoma City Thunder are beating teams so badly this season that their average point differential is the largest that we've ever seen in the NBA. The Thunder are a machine. They are a team that's rallied around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has scored at least 20 points in 68 straight games, guys. This is as close as to a metronome as we've seen since Tim Duncan, where every time he goes out there, you know that you're going to get 30 points a night and a professionalism, a defense. He has the second most steals in the NBA, and everyone around them rallies and they play so hard defensively, by far the best defense in the NBA. So if you're looking at a team that has a chance to just run the table this year, I don't think it's Boston. I don't think it's Cleveland. I think it's OKC, and that's no shame in it, but Cleveland certainly has their hands full with both Boston and OKC this year.
If you had to bet right now where the Cavs season ends, whether it's losing in the second round, losing the Eastern Conference Finals, losing in the finals, or winning it all, you had to bet the most likely scenario is what for you?
NBA Finals. That's for me. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Kristaps Porzingis injury question that continues to linger this season, we don't know how healthy he's going to be for the postseason. He's played, just about half the season, and when you look at that injury concern, for me, I can't bank on the fact that the Boston Celtics are going to have their big five for the entirety of the postseason. And then you throw in the fact that Evan Mobley has made the leap, and Kenny Atkinson, not enough is being made about the turnaround that you've seen from this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Last year, they were 18th in offensive rating once you adjust for opponent. This year, their offensive rating is 121, number one in the entire league, the best offense in the league, and their defense is still right around top 10. So they are elite on both ends of the floor. And for me, the Boston Celtics with that injury concern is the biggest reason why I feel a little bit more confident. I'm not saying it's going to be over in 5 games or 6 games. I think it's going to go the full 7 when Cleveland has the home court advantage in that matchup against Boston. I do think that Cleveland right now has the slight edge because of Porzingis, but man, that's going to be an all-time great Eastern Conference series if we get it.
Wow.
Tom, real quick before I ask my serious question, what's the number 14 jersey behind you?
Oh, this is my guy, Muggsy Bogues. This is the guy. I've shared the same birthday with Muggsy. I went to the same college as Muggsy. I'm a little bit taller than Muggsy, but that's my favorite, the most unlikely NBA story. Maybe the sports story is 5'3" and having a long NBA career in a game full of Giants. I love that dude.
Well, I'm glad it's not your jersey because this show's only big enough for one guy who loves basketball that wore number 14 and has an Emmy in their shot behind them. So if you had 14,
God, Mike,
he has lost his mind.
We got one too here, Tom. My serious question though, Tom, is when you look at the Cavs, you mentioned it earlier, OKC, Boston, Cleveland. Those are the 3 teams with the best chance to win a title. When you look at Cleveland, we know the strengths. In your opinion, what is their potential downfall when it comes to winning it all? What's their weakness when you look at them as an overall team in terms of contending for an NBA title this season?
Yeah, I think it was a Channing Frye on Oddball. He was given the proposal from Amin El Hassan, was like, hey, your Cleveland Cavaliers championship team or this one, if they played right now. And Amin was of the opinion that this team right now would win in that series. And Channing Frye lost his mind. And he was like, no, they don't have any bullies. And you talked about the physicality. We know Donovan Mitchell. He is as good of a scorer and leaper and finisher that we have in the league. But who's going to take over down the stretch? We know that Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell both have elite scoring rates, top 10, both of them in clutch performance this year, clutch scoring rate. But I do think that it's going to be a little bit of who's going to take over. Is it Evan Mobley, who's continued this ascension this season, or is it going to be Darius Garland? It might even be DeAndre Hunter at times. You look at that 5-man DeAndre Hunter, who got acquired at the deadline in that trade with Atlanta. When he's on the floor with the core 4, meaning Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, when that 5-man lineup is on the floor, they've outscored opponents by 37 points every 100 possessions, which is absurd. That's absurd. But the weird thing is, guys, Kenny Atkinson has preferred to have DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench lately. They've only played 7 times since he was traded. That 5-man unit has only played 7 games this season in the second half of the season, which is far fewer than I thought they would have. So if there is a weakness I guess it's trying to figure out, is it Max Strus in the starting lineup who has a lot more three-point volume? Is it DeAndre Hunter, who in my opinion is a much bigger player, much stronger player and better defender? Or is it someone like Isaiah Okoro, Dean Wade, who is that fifth man lineup? But I do think that that's kind of small potatoes. If you're trying to figure out who is the best fifth piece next to your 4-4, I think that's a good problem to have. In my opinion, I think a lot of the postseason is going to rest on DeAndre Hunter playing the 4 and Evan Mobley at the 5. I think in some ways, when they go small with that lineup, that might be their best lineup going forward, but they certainly are going to need Jared Allen for big stretches in the postseason to make sure to keep the opposing guys off the board. And also playing great rim protection. They have a lot of different looks, and I kind of think that's a strength, not a weakness.
Tom, speaking of big stretches, you're talking about Ty Jerome. Obviously he's missing some games right now because he's dealing with an ankle injury. But when you look at him in the postseason, obviously this regular season he's been magnificent. Is this something that you think he has longevity of? Well, we'll see this in the postseason. Does he come off as the type of guy that can have that impact?
I love Ty Jerome, man.
Yeah,
I love
a lot of
that
people
dude.
do.
Oh my God, you don't?
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I thought you were like, I know a lot of people do, man.
I'm sick of hearing about him.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm upset at the NBA for not allowing this dude to be qualified for most improved player because he's my most improved player of the year. Like, that's my guy. Like, that, I love watching him play. He's basically 50, 40, 90 shooting percentages on the floor. He's a bucket getter. I think he's got something like 15 games with scoring at least 20 points. A lot of times, like I cover the Blazers on their broadcast as their analytics insider, and multiple times this season against the Blazers, he's cooked them. Absolute straight up cooked the Blazers. And that was, he's coming into a team that already has like 4 All-Stars on it. And oftentimes he's the best player on the floor. And the reason why he's not qualified is because of this minutes restriction that you need to have in order to qualify for award games. So you need to play at least 20 minutes in a game for it to count as an end of season award game. And that, to me, it shortchanges a lot of these guys like Ty Jerome, who are playing 20, 25 minutes a night, 30 minutes sometimes, but aren't qualified because they didn't meet that 20-minute threshold. To me, what he has done after last season being injured and coming into this season and being a really good offensive threat and a capable defender, he was maybe out of the league this time last year. Like, he was on the fringe of making an NBA roster, and now he is a core piece of this Cleveland Cavaliers team, and I suspect that'll continue in the postseason. I love the way he plays.
Tom, I got a real quick Ty Jerome story for you, but Ty does that little deceleration step when he drives. It's the slow Euro step, right? And last year, the Cavs did not utilize that move at all. This year, they're all doing it. Mobley, Donovan, Darius. I asked Ty, hey, how did that kind of spread across the locker room? And Ty said, I taught the guys that. Kenny Atkinson hates when anyone but Ty Jerome does that because he says everyone else is too athletic. They shouldn't have to slow down to be able to finish over guys. Ty's the only guy he likes doing it because he doesn't have the athleticism that the other guys have. So Ty Jerome has changed not just the Sixth Man of the Year conversation, but how the entire Cavaliers team attacks the rim.
And I'll say this, Kenny Atkinson's brilliant, but he's got to understand that breaks are athleticism too. Like, you look at Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, James Harden, the way they speed up and slow down. Chris Paul does this too at an elite level when he was in his prime. That decel that you're talking about is an elite trait in today's NBA. And I think Kenny was probably half joking when he said that, but that is an elite skill, and I'm so glad that he's able to teach the other players, because once you add that to your game, you're going to create a lot more space at the rim, and that's impressive. I love that he's the teacher on the squad.
Tom, there are some fans here in Cleveland that are maybe a little nervous about facing potentially JB Bickerstaff in the postseason with the Pistons. Would that worry you at all?
I think there's just too much talent on the Cleveland side. Cade Cunningham's hurt right now. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch as they approach the postseason. I do think that this Kenny Atkinson offense is on another level. And no disrespect to JB Bickerstaff, he might win Coach of the Year this year if the Pistons continue this. I think it's Kenny Atkinson's award. But offensively, the way that Evan Mobley has been unlocked as a ball handler, as an attacker in transition, I just think JB Bickerstaff, there's not many guys on that roster on the Detroit side that can guard Evan Mobley consistently. And so that's one of the big things. The reason why I think Kenny Atkinson deserves that award is the way that he's taken a guy who looked like a lot of times as a project last season and before and turned him into a self-actualized star in today's NBA. And so the three-point shooting, the playmaking, the ball handling, all of this has taken a major leap under Kenny Atkinson. And yeah, the Pistons might win a game or two, but I think the Cavs would win soundly in that series.
Tom, the truth is, I mean, you can't blame the fans here for expecting things to go bad because often they do in Cleveland. But our fans are just being overly paranoid here. Everybody in Cleveland wanted J.B. Bickerstaff out of here. We got the coach who's doing a great job, and now we're going to be worried about J.B. Bickerstaff. The Cavs are going to kick their ass if they play him. Come on now. This is just silly. It's just our fans being paranoid. The one thing I do want to ask, though, is obviously Donovan Mitchell's had a great season overall, but he's been in a big-time shooting slump, especially from three of late. What do you make of that? Is it just these are the ebbs and flows of a season, or is there anything more to it?
Yeah, Jokic, the guy who's like the best player on the planet, is also in a shooting slump. If it can happen to that dude, it can happen to anybody. And so, yeah, it is the ebb and flow of the season. And I would be concerned if they didn't have Max Strus, if they didn't have Darius Garland, if they didn't have Evan Mobley. All of these guys are capable three-point shooters. In case he goes through a slump like that, last year maybe that was a death blow. But for this team, the way that they've created all of these weapons from downtown and inside, Mitchell could have a cold shooting slump for a month, and it might not matter. Of course, in the postseason, you don't want that to happen, but I do think that Donovan Mitchell, even if this is something that is a little bit more sticky, the rest of the team is so capable from picking up the slack.
Tom, let me zoom out of Cleveland a little bit and go to the Western Conference. The Lakers, obviously they made the big trade for Luka Doncic. Is that trade going to help them get to the finals? Can that trade alone help them beat the Nuggets and or OKC?
Cavs versus LeBron.
I know.
We all want to see it. Must see TV.
Man, that would be insane. It would be an incredible. I did a game last night where it was for the NBA's strategy stream. I was on for the Kings-Pacers game last night, and the producer asked me, would the Cavs-Lakers be the juiciest finals matchup? And I had to think about this because I was thinking, on one hand it is because of all the history between Cleveland and LeBron, of course. But I also think Boston and Lakers would be even juicier because you have Luka Doncic losing to Boston in the NBA Finals, joining the Lakers, and then you have that classic Lakers-Celtics final on the other side. Either way, whether it's Cleveland or it's Boston going against the Lakers, that's like, for me, picking between which is my favorite daughter. I can't pick one. It's an incredible, juicy matchup no matter where you look at it. And I don't know how I would feel if I was a Cavs fan and the Lakers with LeBron beat the Cavs. Would that change the way you looked at 2016 or no? Like, I'm asking you guys.
No, I don't think I wouldn't. It wouldn't change. It would be obviously a huge bummer, but no, I don't think it would change. Would it change for you guys, 2016, if LeBron beat the Cavs?
No. 2016 will be near and dear to everybody.
Yeah.
It was the first championship that I ever witnessed in Cleveland in my life.
I bet you won a championship.
Do you think LeBron wants
when I
to
was
face
in
the
Columbus, though?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Tom, you think LeBron wants to play the Cavs? Like, would that be an uncomfortable spot for him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I covered LeBron when I was in Miami from 2010 to 2014 when he left, and that was my first big break, was covering LeBron James in Miami, and he is not comfortable being the villain. He's never been comfortable being the villain. If you guys remember that first year, the way y'all treated him at back home,
burn his jersey.
Yeah, that was the least of it. If you saw some of the posters there in your arena greeting him when he came to Cleveland, and that sort of thing did not sit well with LeBron. He is someone that I think relishes in being a positive figure or being like, as you know, when he was doing those class pictures, kind of class clown in his first stint with Cleveland, he likes that kind of positivity, hero role rather than the villain. So walking into that arena in Cleveland and play and getting potentially. I don't think you guys would boo him. That's the weird thing.
They would boo. They would
you don't
boo.
think so?
He just showed up to a game last year.
Yeah, but if it was for the championship, I don't know. That's
They're
a
not
good question.
going to boo him.
That's actually a great question.
That's a good question. Some people
him.
would. I think some people would boo him. Yeah.
I mean, if they,
but not overwhelmingly.
I think it would affect him. I think it would affect him in a way that
I changed my answer. They will boo him.
Yeah, if it's the NBA Finals and they beat the Boston Celtics to get there, I think you guys are going to feel extremely confident. You're going to be feeling yourselves, and booing LeBron James, who helped you win the 2016 NBA championship, that would feel like something where it's like, you might have left us, but we're here. We're back without you. And that's going to be such a big thing for emotionally, you guys having that kind of we haven't even gotten there yet, but the idea of winning without LeBron James is something that I think every fan base has to experience at least once, is realizing, you have that imposter syndrome where it's like in life, you guys are sitting there, you're probably like, man, am I that talented? Or is it the group that I'm with? And I know it's a yes for both of you. You guys are that individually talented, and you're better in this group that you have here, of course. But for the Cavs, feeling like that 2016 championship, kind of feel like you have that chip on your shoulder to prove that it's not. We don't need LeBron to be a great NBA pro franchise, and that's going to be interesting to see.
Tom, it would come full circle, because if you remember in the locker room when they played Golden State and they were coming back, and he says they're messed up mentally, y'all. They are messed up, right?
Yeah, and if LeBron
gets booed, that's what the Cavs. He's messed up mentally, y'all.
That's true.
So it'd be kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah. Tom, real quick before you go, just between us, who is your favorite daughter, by the way? You want to be honest about that?
I'm going to go with my dog, Piper. That is my third daughter. So that is a diplomatic answer. I'll go with the dog.
Way to go. Thanks, Tom. We appreciate the time, man.
Thank you, Tom.
That was Tom Haberstroh.
Yeah,
check him out at Yahoo. Listen to The Big Number. Him and Dan Devine, who we've had on the show before, do a great job covering the NBA.
He's very high